Welcome back in, everyone, to another episode of Wednesdays at the Wink. I'm TJ Downing with the SMG Network, and as always, we're here at the Washington Square Winking Lizard, right here across from campus. Walsh University, always rocking with the Walsh Cavaliers every Wednesday. This week, though, a little bit different. Not going to have one of our traditional fall, winter sports athletic teams, but those who work alongside and those that also help officiate all of those contests. Special shout out to the Walsh Cavaliers and all of their athletics programs. We've had a chance to dip through a few of them here early through the fall. We've kind of gotten about through the halfway point here now, but make sure to always go to athletics.walsh.edu for all information, great content, and whenever you can, where you download your apps, whether it's Google Play, Apple Store, wherever you get them, download the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app. Also, special shout out to our good friends at Bell Stores, Huntington Bank, BSN Sports, Cleveland Clinic, Mercy Hospitals, and the Sam Center. So today I'm joined first by Jenna Jaffe and Dave Gramlich. And, you know, since we kind of talked, guys, not doing the coverage of a team, but more coverage on those that help the teams while they're out there on the field compete. And those are the officials. Dave, have had a chance to, I've known you for a while, I've had a chance for you to be out here from previous episodes that we've done here on Wednesdays at the Wink, and kind of tell people a little bit about your history, not only around officiating, around athletics, but how you ended up here at Walsh University and really kind of what your daily deal is here on campus.
Yeah, sure. I'm Dave Gramlich. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director for Business Operations at Walsh University. Also help out with NCAA compliance, which is a monumental task, just winding through all those rules and regulations for all our student athletes. So I handle, you know, the business, the finance end of things, and then just kind of help wherever I can with game management and compliance and all that good stuff. I've been in college athletics probably getting close to 15 years now. I was a student athlete in track and field and cross country. So I was a distance runner my whole life, and just always been around athletics. I was coaching and then moved over to the administrative side of things more recently. And on top of that, I've also kind of dipped my toe in officiating the last 3 years for track and field and cross country.
A man of many trades. You're like a seasoned, savvy veteran now.
That's right.
15 years. That's
why that way I don't get bored. You know, I always have something new and fresh to do.
Right, man. Hey, like you said, dip the toes, stay on your toes, and tell us real quick here before we get a chance to talk to Jenna that it's been an interesting dynamic to me throughout my years being around athletics, being around administration, being around, you know, finance, business, whatever it may be. How was that transition for you? How was it for you as an athlete going to the administration side and seeing kind of well, maybe you can call it the big picture of how that monster can kind of operate?
Yeah, no, for sure. As a student athlete, you kind of see things one way. You're kind of in your own little team world, and you're just kind of, you know, trying to be as good as you can in your little craft. But when you move on to the administrative side and you kind of see the big picture, you start to understand that things maybe aren't as easy as they seem for those administrators and coaches that are trying to manage
those
budgets.
Who give tough times to others.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a student athlete, you know, you gripe about, you know, what you had for dinner on the road, or, you know, I didn't get enough and stuff like that, or you didn't like my uniforms. But then when you get behind the scenes and you see how it is to run a whole athletic department, we have over 700 student athletes at Walsh, and we're trying to give them all a great experience across the board. So you definitely, I have more patience now with coaches and people doing the work on the ground, because it's a tough job, you know, to manage all that.
No doubt. And I can definitely tell you from, you know, being a local guy who left town, went to school down in Columbus, came back up here and became more affiliated with what Walsh is, and the dynamic, not only the facilities that are being built, but on campus, and also, you know, the many sports and varsity teams. I mean, we've had a chance to do a lot of stuff with rugby, you know, just, hey, President Collins, we had him on down at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club down at Tozie's on 12th last week, and it's like one of the coolest presidents I think I've ever had a chance to be around. You know, crowd surfing and alumni arena and getting up on top of the cheerleader pyramid out there on Larry Stout Field. And, you know, just to see how Walsh, from our years of understanding, going back NAIA now to Division II, and just keep rising, building, right? And from my affiliation, getting to see it and understanding how well you take care of your student athletes. Jenna, as we bring you on, Jenna Jaffe, talk about that a little bit for us, because we know there's always a lot going on around Walsh University on campus, whether it's across the street here at the Winking Lizard, and really what you see on a day in and day out basis for student athletes, what they go through, and really that prep before you get onto the field, and then breaking down the officiating side of it. How did you really get involved with where you're at now and what you do?
So I would say from freshman to junior year now, I've seen a lot. There's a lot more opportunities to get involved in things, and President Collins is always awesome. We were going to the Browns game Sunday, and he was there like greeting us and
Nice.
saying, have a good game, like the weather's going to be nice, like whatever. And it's really cool to have a president that supports you in that way. Monday mornings, I'll be walking to class, and he's there screaming in my face. But you got to appreciate it.
I can already picture it.
Yeah. He's a bundle of joy to be around. And, so this year I got involved in SAC as well, which is just another club you can pick up and meet a lot of new people.
Student Athlete Advisory Committee does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I've gotten to see that more and more.
It's a lot of fun, too. Like, there's always opportunities to be involved and go to new events that we're planning and stuff like that. Like, we had a home run derby. It's a lot of fun to participate in that because it's comfort for our sport because we get to, like, help people. Like, it's fun to watch people succeed, hitting home runs, like that type of thing. So.
Okay, how did Greenie do? I need to know. She was talking about it. She put out any bombs?
She had a couple.
I figured she would.
Yeah, she had a few.
Yeah, and talk about Coach back there, snapping up some picks and really what she's meant to the softball program, and really how does, from what you've seen with just, we talked about dipping your toes into officiating. I dipped my toes back in when you'd get $40 a game over there at Barr Elementary, and if you did the game by yourself, work second and behind the plate, you got 80. So we always try to work a double. But how has softball, baseball officiating, how is that kind of grown? How is that? How do they make it better? How does it continue to get better to make sure that the experience for the student athlete is always optimal?
Yeah. So Coach has been awesome. Like coming in my freshman year, she made everybody very comfortable. And since we've picked up a new reserves program, I've had the chance to umpire them too, which is cool because they're my peers and I can still like teach them something or help them out in any way. So I've officiated a few of their games, and we've also run a 12U showcase.
Nice.
And I've helped officiate that as well. And it's huge because other people on the team aren't as comfortable doing it. So it's a cool skill set I can have to bring to this program. I started officiating about 4 years ago, and I was not very comfortable because I would do 18U games and I was 14 just because the demand was not like they needed somebody. So I've done 18U games when I was 14, which now it's gotten a lot bigger, which I'm glad to see it grow. I still get to do those type of games now, and I get to focus on like 12U as well, which is cool because that's like around the age I started. I get to teach them something. When I show up to the field, they look up to me, which is really cool. Like
so
they ask me so many questions.
A little bit better?
I do.
It's fun.
I do, and they're very competitive at that age, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. That's kind of that's where I'll start with my experience working, and they were even maybe a little bit younger than 12, and you just don't want to mess up.
They make you feel comfortable by like wanting to talk to you too. But when I started out,
and nobody wants a coach ripping them down the line, about your call or how you made it. You do want to get it right. As former athletes here, you want the official to get it right. Nobody wants to have to yell and bark at the official, right? Dave, when you first, you were kind of joking about it before we got on here. We were setting up, and I think I overheard you talking about a little bit of track and field officiating, and you don't really have to worry about too many people barking there as you would maybe a football call or a basketball call or balls and strikes, but it's also when you're talking about the speeds, the times, the accuracy, it's still got to be very elite and sharp.
Yeah, the thing about track and field officiating is you really have to know every event pretty well, and at least have an understanding of how each event works. But most of my job in track and field is just basically making a call when an athlete's already known they've messed up. If they're high jumping, they know they've knocked the bar off, so that's a foul, right? Now, some of the events, there's a little more. You got to pay a little closer attention. Like in long jump, you got to see how close they are to the board, and if they go over that mark, then there could be a little bit of a discrepancy there if you make the wrong call. But that's one thing that's nice about the sport I officiate in, is a lot of things that the fans and the athletes kind of know they messed up before I have to make the call. So there's not as much controversy.
and also along with that too, like there's a lot of stuff that's obviously going to be electronic, digital, stuff like that. But when you're talking about that long jump, I mean, is that just you as that track and field official, just a trained, keen eye?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And usually, like, different events are going to have a different amount of people working those events. So somebody's specific job during the long jump is to sit there and watch that board and make the call on the board, where somebody else is out in the pit. They're marking where the person landed and trying to be as accurate as possible to make sure they get a good measurement. So everybody has their own little specialized area to focus on, so it's a little bit easier than trying to do it all yourself,
Yeah, TJ Downing, Dave Gramlich, and Jenna Jaffe here at Wednesdays at the Wink. Make sure to get over here to the Winking Lizard at Washington Square. I'll tell you what, they do some great things over here. Whether you're going to Alumni Arena, Larry Stout Field, let's talk about it real quick. Boo with the Woo tonight, right?
That's right.
Before, after, great food. Always a great time here at the Winking Lizard. Shout out to all the great people here, so stop out and patronize them. When you talk about some more officiating, some more just officials in general, Jenna, people have always talked recently about a lack of them. There's just, whether it's you're not maybe getting paid as much money, trying to find those funds, and you'll hear about maybe a JV or a freshman game that had to get canceled because they couldn't find an official. And, how have you seen maybe with like this reserves program? Talk about that. Is this something that allows you to get credits towards your graduation? Is this something that is an active recruiting tool to be able to maybe get somebody who would have never even thought about umpiring games out to start umpiring games, whether it's putting a couple extra bucks in your pocket, but to be able to just get more bodies out there, because there's always so many games going on. You need to have bodies and officials on each diamond.
Yeah, so it's tough because as sad as it is, the part that drives umps away is actually the players. And it's sad to see. So me being a player, I always make sure I'm giving the umpire, just some positive critiques or something to make them feel good, because that's what keeps them coming back. As soon as there's too much going on, it's too stressful and you get too involved, that's where they start getting driven away. So me being a catcher too, I get to have one-on-one experience for 2.5 hours during the game. So I always make sure to try and make sure they feel good about everything too.
I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
You're working on your strike zone.
Yeah.
With the little handshake. Listen, okay, when I'm up to the plate, work with me here a little bit. Let's keep this thing tight. Now, when you're standing over here behind me, I pull that thing back in, thanks for giving me the call.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a great strategy. Dave, what have you seen in the way of trying to bring out new, younger faces to get involved in officiating?
Yeah, I think the programs that are trying to get high school students and college students involved in officiating is key, because it used to be officials were either maybe in that older retirement age kind of phase of life, or they were super young, maybe working the youth sports side of things, and there wasn't a lot of people in the middle that were involved. So I think getting people involved in officiating at an earlier age, getting them educated and letting them know how to find opportunities to go work some of these cool events or tournaments or whatever it is going to pique the interest and kind of build the officiating core back up. But what you're seeing right now is people are hurting all across the board for officials. And some of that is I think people, age and just people getting older and kind of getting out of the profession. But I think you're also seeing this kind of radical sideline behavior issue in some of our youth sports that's kind of pushing people away. So we've got to address not only getting more bodies involved in the sports, but also we've got to address how we act on the sidelines, from a parent or –
Come on, people.
That's
Do
right.
better sometimes.
And even the players on the field. So we've got to come up with some sort of solution to just make it about the people on the field playing and get the people off the sidelines yelling and going crazy.
You can almost set your clock to it, at least maybe once a month. You're going to pull open a Twitter or a Facebook or an Instagram or something, and you're going to see some out-of-control situation that involved a fan coming out, getting into an official's face, and it's just let the players play, let the officials officiate, and we're all at the end of the day, right? And I feel a lot of that because I was very upset the other day because right before Giancarlo Stanton hit that home run, looked like it should have been a strike. Maybe he forgot to shake the umpire's hand before, but you know, when you're talking about something, I mean, in a window like that for an umpire who is trying to lean and work and navigate behind you and around you, it's human error. You're going to have some misses, right? I mean, how do you deal with that? Kind of staying level-headed sometimes, or maybe having to work with your pitcher, like, okay, you know, calm down, because you can probably see the frustration in the eyes of a pitcher, like, man, I swear that just hit the spot, and we're not getting the call.
You just got to have such a short-term memory. Like, as a player of any position, and especially the pitcher, as soon as you start to lose your temper, it gets worse.
Yeah.
And officials can see it. They know it. And if they're not on your side anymore, then good luck getting the next one.
Right.
It's going to happen, though. Human errors are very common.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dave, it was always interesting, and I took part in this. What did you major in college?
Education and business, yeah.
Okay, so you know, there was quite a few of us football guys that kind of went towards the sports and leisure studies or the resource management or something like that. And sure enough, you know, stay on campus in summertime, officiating golf, officiating softball, you know, officiating basketball, all things great to learn that skill set, right? You talked about it where, and I believe it's Jackson who's done a really good job over there getting younger people involved in it. Well, okay, let's offer this as an elective class, right? Let's just find a way to keep people interested, do something new, and it's going to help towards your college degree. But, you know, we would all take them, and I'll tell you what, the things you would learn just getting, let's say, the updated, the 2006-07 hand guide from OHSAA, or that of a Big Ten commission or whatever. You know, when you see stuff like that, I mean, you're starting to get really in depth, and then you can ultimately see why you get to a professional level of officiating, and they make a pretty good living, right?
That's right. Yeah, some people make a great living officiating.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think high school kids or even college kids understand that they actually can be a career path for certain sports. So if it's something that people are really passionate about, I mean, I know there's a husband and wife couple that got into soccer officiating down in Dover, and now they're working World Cup games. You know,
Wow,
they're
that's pretty
traveling
cool.
all over the world. So yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to be involved in officiating. You can be involved in a part-time, you know, youth sports level, or you can work your way up and you can be doing, basically it's your career working Big Ten basketball.
Right, right. All right, well, before we get you out of here, before we get this young lady out of here, we're going to put a little bit of shine on the student athlete here for a second, all right? We're going to give you the 60 to 90 seconds. Tell us all about Walsh University softball expectations this year. Tell us about you. Tell us about how softball really became a part of your life when you were younger, and really what ultimately led you to Walsh University.
So I started playing actually baseball at 8 years old because all my neighbors wanted to, and then I moved to softball at 10U, started playing more competitively. I've grown so much as a player, as a person.
Always a catcher from the start?
I was a middle infielder, and now I'm catcher utility.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to be a catcher because I was like, I want to be so involved in this game. Like, I love it. I want to touch the ball every single pitch. So I really got a passion for going into college when I was in high school, because my coach was like, I want to move up to a college level as coaching. And I was like, well, I want to go to college. Like, I want to play softball competitively. Like, I don't want to quit. Started reaching out, and then that was the time of COVID. So there's a few limitations, but one of my teammates who's here now, she committed to Walsh, and we were on the same travel team, and she was like, you should go check it out. Like, go see. I was like, oh, I'm open to anything. I came here. Great visit. I wanted to follow her, too. Like, and then Coach Connell got hired right before my freshman year. So obviously there was a little nerves there. I was already knee-deep in coming here. I was like, I'm going to go. Met Coach Connell. Great. Such a blessing that she was here. And, you know, I've loved it every single year. I have nothing bad to say. This team is very positive. We're all super close, and I'm very excited for this year. Fall has been great, so I'm very excited to see where we go.
Right now, as it sits, you guys are just in a training phase. You guys are. Is there a fall ball? Any type of like inter squad, what does it look like right now in the fall for a Walsh University softball player?
Yeah, so fall one, the past 8 weeks, we've been doing everyday practice, just about one off day, and we had 5 games against bigger colleges. And now, as we transition into this period, it's more individuals, and then Saturdays are our big team practices, and then we lift twice a week. So on Saturdays, we'll do some of the inter squads, some of the live pitching, stuff like that. Throughout the week, you'll have a couple individuals, and that's where you get to really work one-on-one with the coaches. You learn a lot during this time. It's nitty-gritty stuff, but it's very beneficial.
That's the fundamental. That's the foundation right there. Get you ready to have great teams and great success in the spring sport there for you guys and your softball team. You know, we'll be pulling behind you, and hopefully we get a chance to have you and coach in the spring. They'll be our first ones up when we get back for Wednesdays at the Wink in the spring. And give a special shout out, Talking Catchers, one of the all-time best from around the area. My girl Natalie Hale, went to school with her down there at Ohio State, and I'll tell you what, so much respect for that position, just up and down and the wear and tear. I mean, you've got to be, that's a real athlete right there. So, hey, we will be pulling for you. Continue the great work. And when we come back, we're going to get a chance to talk to Greenie. We're going to talk to some more here and really kind of dig in again to some more of the officiating stuff. Talk about it in some other sports, whether it's in high school, whether it's going to collegiate or professional. But when we come back here for more at Wednesdays at the Wink, we will dive in with them. For my guy, Dave Gramlich, Jenna Jaffe, appreciate you guys joining us here at TJ Downing for the SMG Network. We'll be back in a second just after this, but a great time to give a shout out to our sponsors one more time again: Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospitals, BSN Sports, Huntington Bank, Bell Stores, and the Sam Center. Serving area military, giving back over 13,000 pounds of food to veteran families in need every first and third Friday of the month. You can donate over at Maslin or at their new facility in Canal Fulton. All right, we'll be back with more after this with our girl Greenie, and we'll get it rocking here inside of the Winking Lizard at Washington Square. Hang on with us. Welcome back into Wednesdays at the Wink. TJ Downing with the SMG Network here on campus with the Walsh Cavaliers right across campus, but we're here inside of the Washington Square Winking Lizard enjoying some great things here. Make sure you stop out and enjoy all that they have to offer, again, before the events, after the events, whether it's outside Larry Stout Field, which Greenie, hopefully we'll have at least a few more weeks of goodness until the weather turns. It's really shining down.
This weather's beautiful.
Oh my, it's so beautiful. And you know, it's always beautiful to be on campus over there at Walsh University, right across the street from us. And always want to shout out our great partners: Cleveland Clinic Mercy Hospitals, BSN Sports, Huntington Bank, Bell Stores, and the Sam Center. And always joined, always assisted, always helped. She's always helping every student athlete on campus, but always takes care of us here at the SMG Network. My girl Greenie got her, we're going to call her, this is going to be your officiating sidekick today, AJ Wirtz.
Yep.
AJ, a freshman baseball player here on campus for the Cavaliers. Unfortunately, a former polar bear, but no, a Jackson polar bear. Gosh, we can talk about all the success that program has had and talk about those beautiful facilities over there. That's great stuff coming out of the Jackson baseball program over there. Check them out on Twitter. A lot of good stuff on the Jackson, not Diamond. It's 2014, Jackson Baseball 2014 on Twitter. Check them out. They put out a ton of content on their guys. Really cool to keep up on that. And when you got major league studs and, you know, just getting it done, Nicholas and everybody, just a ton of success. And really success around Greenie, our entire area here, not just Stark County, but let's just call it the greater Northeast Ohio area, for all athletics, you know, whether it's winter, fall, spring, whatever it may be, and really kind of hear what we're talking about today with the officiating side of things. This is something that you really kind of spearheaded, and I know it's kind of key to your heart because you've been involved in it for a long time. Not only were you an athlete, you're a coach, you're on the administrative side of things, you're an official. So, you know, you kind of feel it a little bit kind of like Dave Gramlich feels it, you know, because you've seen all different phases and see how it all works hand in hand together. But one of the things that makes athletics so great in Northeast Ohio is the fact that, you know what, we've got pretty good officials around here and around the area. And, you know, it's not let's just call it a thankless job, right?
Yeah, I would agree. You could probably agree too.
Very.
When you get a thank you, it's like whoa,
wow.
You know?
What just
it's
happened?
A shock.
Holy
it's
cow.
a shock, definitely.
Yeah.
I was just trying to do my job.
Right,
you know?
right.
When you talked about putting this together and, talking about what you do with the Cavalier commitment. Really kind of dive in deep on that, because I know as I talked to Dave about, and Jenny even mentioned, her ability to be able to do with the reserves and be able to learn how to officiate and things that you're doing now, AJ. The Cavalier commitment is something that allows a lot of young people that are, whether they didn't learn it in high school, get to the collegiate level and, add a skill set, right?
Yeah, so basically officiating, I think, as we all know, and I think it's probably a little closer to our hearts, being an official, people don't realize that to play the game and at any level, you need officials. And the NCAA has really put out like an initiative this year to really show and make available the education that goes into officiating, whether it be Dave with track and field and cross country, or baseball officials, or football, or soccer, lacrosse. There's every sport is struggling having people to ref their games. I know soccer is really bad. I think we're very lucky in Northeast Ohio with basketball. There seems like enough, but I think lacrosse struggles. And so this year, the Walsh University Athletic Department, each year we put together an initiative that our student athletes are going to focus on. And so this year, me and our softball coach, head coach Katie Connell, we kind of brainstormed something that would focus officiating and, having our student athletes thank our officials and putting the education out there to our student athletes, like, hey, this is a great, profession, whether you get into make it a profession or have it as a hobby just to make some extra money, but really outside of the money aspect, impact other kids. And so I know in my career playing basketball, I played up in high school, there are a lot of officials that I still see out in the community, and they're great people, and people don't realize, they just see them in the stripes and think they're horrible people. And, we're trying to humanize the factor of that. So that's where we started with the Cavalier commitment. I have this card here. You probably can't see it on the camera. So our student athletes are giving these cards out, and as well as another card at home games to the officials that we have.
Oh, nice.
Just saying thank you. It's like a little thank you note. And then on here, you guys can see, and maybe we can put this up on the stream here, but it's making people aware of what we're doing. So we're focusing on the culture of building a culture of good for officials, educating people about officiating and reffing, and then we've partnership. So we've partnered with the OHSA. They're kind of behind us, kind of spreading this awareness for officiating. Local high schools, we, are hoping to maybe dabble with a contact in the NFL. Again, we just are trying to put out there in spotlights, which is why we had Dave here, Jenna here, AJ, spotlight other officials to make it more humanizing. Like, again, he's just a young freshman that, so when he's on Friday night getting screamed at or at a basketball game, like, hey, he's still going to class on Monday or going to play baseball, and, he's trying to impact other people. It's not just about making money or something like that. So we just really want to spotlight how great officiating can be.
Yeah, Greeny, I think the other thing, too, is pretty cool. You talk about the partnership with the OHSAA, and I believe it would be during a lot of the football games or during the basketball games that we do. There's a big commercial piece during halftime, right, that you guys would air that kind of it deals with the officials, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy, but I think was it Gene Steratore was part of it.
Yeah, so speaking of Gene, the little plug here, on November 6th, Gene is speaking by video call to our Student Athlete Advisory Committee.
Oh, nice.
So if you're listening, check that out. It's open to the public, so we're going to have him on. It starts at 9 p.m. in our Barrett Business Center.
Guy's about as knowledgeable as it gets when it comes to that stuff.
And we're very fortunate. He's actually a GMAC employee. He's like the head of officiating in our conference.
Really?
Yeah. So it's going to be really cool to just hear about life in officiating and how he's made it up the ranks and has made a living out of, helping and impacting other people and officiating games.
Yeah, AJ, that was something that I had a chance to talk to Dave Gramlich about earlier here, and it's really it's something that maybe not a whole lot of people think about when they go to college, but this is something you could actually do for a profession. I mean, everybody always talks about it. It's tough to get to the league, right? It's tough to play in the league, but how about ref in the NBA or the NFL or the major leagues, because they need bodies as much as anybody. Now, these are the elites, right? Mm-hmm. But if you work hard enough to it, and that kind of foundation starts getting into college, maybe working a program like you are now, it could be a really good living, right?
For sure. For sure. Yeah. And I've talked to a bunch of officials that I've worked with now, how this is their job. Like, some of them been up to, like, Division I sports, and they love it. And they always say, we need guys. We need people to do it. And so, yeah, they love it. That's their living.
AJ, before we got on here, we started mentioning, obviously, again, a baseball player for the Jackson Polar Bears and a freshman here on the team at Walsh University. Shout out to Coach Tim, man. Phenom. I mean, what did we hit, like 700 wins last year or so?
You know, he's at 900.
900,
so
man.
he's getting closer to 1,000.
Sorry, Coach. I mean, milestone stuff, like getting 1,000 wins in college. Like, that's cool. And it speaks to the type of person he is. I mean, I don't need to tell you or you, but, I mean, when somebody sticks around a great university like this for X amount of years and builds all those wins in that resume, and you do it with bringing in great people like yourself, AJ, and but your foundation or the foundation of what you may be doing now and what can help even the younger kids now in high school, it's kind of was centered and started over there at Jackson with Dan Rodriguez. Talk about what they do over there and really how that's kind of spread out and that spider web is getting into the high schools now and really trying to spark that interest at that level.
Yeah, so Dan Rodriguez, he was a baseball coach at Jackson, and he saw the lack of officials for really all sports everywhere throughout the nation. And so he was like, he thought it to himself, what could I do to fix this? So he came up with the idea of starting a class. And so class has been going for, I think, about 7 years. And in the class, we'll just we'll learn, we'll go through the rules and all the mechanics so that we can learn how to do the job of officiating. And then once a week, we'll go down to one of the gyms and we'll just say we're in basketball season, we'll go play basketball. And then we got guys out there to ref just so that they can kind of get a game-like feel to it so that when they do get out there for the first game, they're well prepared and they can do a good job.
And they're not nervous about screwing up because I was worried about the little Mighty Mites guy, great guy, by the way, but he would always work me on my strike zone. I mean, he's over there just chirping at me. I'm like, come on, man. They're 8-year-old kids and they're not swinging the bat.
Right.
You know? So we're going to widen this strike zone out a little bit. But Granny, before we started talking about Gene Sarator, was talking about the partnership with the OHSAA and all the info that they put out. Go over and check them out, OHSAA Sports on Twitter. They put out a bunch of stuff just recently. Is it Officials Month, or was there like a salute to officials? I think something that OSHA wanted to do to be able to highlight and recognize, just as you guys are here at Walsh University. Remember, anything to do with Walsh Cavalier Athletics, make sure to go to athletics.walsh.edu or download the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app, Google Play, Apple Store, wherever you get them, download the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app so you can stay up to date on scores, stats, get schedules, buy tickets, come out and support the student athletes here on campus at Walsh University. The OHSAA, and a lot of times now you'll see with the game day programs that come out, so many people just don't even know the basic hand signals or hand commands of what an official does.
Yeah.
Flip to the back of that deal, and it kind of lists them all out for you. That to me is something that I don't know. Maybe not everybody's like this, but I always flip there first and just kind of maybe see what's new. Maybe just learn something you didn't know, because there's a lot of different calls, a lot of things that are unknown just to the fan who may not have that trained eye or understanding of the game.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm sure he could agree, even just in basketball, there's so many things, you have to, you obviously have to be in shape to run, but then you're also, you have to watch the game and focus on the certain things, but then you also have to be prepared with the mechanics aspect. And like you said, there's so many of them that, I think people sit in the stands and they say, oh, you made a bad call, or oh, why didn't you see that and call it? And they don't realize the knowledge that has to go into being an official, and even just the physical aspect of being in shape to run. There's people in the stands that couldn't do that, but then they want to holler, and it is sad. And I played basketball, and I didn't even know officiating was a thing that you could get into. You just don't think about it. And I coached a little bit while I was doing my undergrad at Walsh, and my time commitment couldn't really allow me to coach anymore. And so I had a good friend, him and his dad got into officiating, and they were like, why don't you go, look into officiating? Even I think it was kind of hard to find, and so I think that's a part of the problem a little bit, which is also why we want to put this out there.
Bring it out to the forefront.
Be able to get officials, you have to take a test, and you pay a little bit of money, and you have to take the class, learn or learn the stuff in the class, take the test, and then, you know, get with the right people to get games. And I think that's the hardest part. And I think the class that they are offering at a lot of Stark County high schools now allows kids at the young age to see that this is something they can do. I wish I would have known. I would have started officiating when I was, you know, I could have done youth basketball or even youth, you know, softball, or heck, I think I know enough about football, maybe.
Right.
That I could have done that. So
this is something, as you talked about earlier too, that it's not just a Jackson thing. This thing is kind of spread out and taken on a bigger shape and form, right? I mean, it's in a lot of the high schools now.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And how many people would you say were like in your class? Are a lot of people still officiating, or?
Yeah. So there were about 90 kids every year in the class, and
all grade levels, like freshman to seniors?
Freshman to senior.
That's
all
great.
grade
That's good
levels,
numbers.
90 kids, roughly is what we could fit, and yeah, the majority of the kids at least officiated one game here or there. But I know a lot of guys that I've talked to. I mean, this is what they do now to make money in high school. It's just like,
it's a good side job. Like
that's what we did. I mean, I was telling Dave and Jenna, like, you know, you do a game by yourself, $80 in your pocket. I mean, for what, 2 hours? I mean, it's that's pretty healthy work.
Yeah. And I look at it as it's a workout. Like, I'm not there to make money. Like, I want to impact kids and, like, you know, make their
if you
game
like
experience
sports,
great.
it's kind of fun to be around.
Yeah, but I get, you know, I tell people a lot of times, like, if you get paid to run, so it's a great way to stay active as well. I mean, at the basketball, I know umping and line judging, you don't move as much, but you still got to be active. You still got to be the mindset, working your mind to
My
be
boy
out
Jason
there.
Hathaway, you know, athletic director.
Yeah, I was gonna have him on
Hathaway.
here. Yeah, that's my guy.
I mean,
Shout out Jason.
I'll go to the YMCA on like a Saturday or Sunday morning. He's reffing games, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, we don't have enough on your plate over there in Northwest."
Yeah.
And, which, again, as she shouted out, our guy Jason Hathaway, one of the best in the business.
Yes.
Dude is phenomenal. Takes care of his student athletes. I mean, really one of the best people, human beings that I know, and. But their facilities are growing and they're doing a great job. But he's like, hey, you know, it's kind of a workout for me, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to officiate for it because I enjoy officiating, but I'm also getting a great, phenomenal cardio workout going up and down the court. Now, I guess I realize what you're saying about a lack of soccer officials, because you'd be gassed by the end of officiating something like that. I mean, just the pace and all that. But, you know, I guess if you take those numbers that AJ dropped, right, just one school inside of one county, and if it had 90 new prospects in this, if we get a third of those to interject themselves into officiating in every, let's call it the 88 counties in the state of Ohio, that's the type of influx you need right now when you talked about the lack of officials at times, and really sucks. And, you know, I know you're a high school coach, Greeny, and it's got to probably drive you nuts to see somebody have to cancel a freshman game or a JV game because they can't get an official for it.
Yeah, I think it's horrible. And, like, I was very fortunate. Like, we didn't really have that problem. Like, when I was playing, and I don't know many people that, like, I wasn't never experienced, like, a cancel game. I don't know if you, like, missed a game because you didn't have umps or something, but that would be – it's just terrible. And, you know, kids work at all levels, even, you know, the little kids –
you're ready for game day.
You're ready for game day, and it's not providing that student-athlete experience, whether it be elementary, middle school, high school, college. You prepare, and then what kind of student-athlete experience are you getting?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you get parents who are yelling in the stands that people don't want to come do it. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no better way to say it. It's just sad.
we see the social media nightmares, like what I told Dave. Set your clock to it. Once a month. You're going to see some wild situations somewhere in North America where an official is just trying to do their job, and a parent comes out and just can't just be a parent and just watch, and got to just do too much and just ruin the experience, not only, unfortunately, for your kid or for the players, but the officials. Like, why do I want to put up with this?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's really tough, and, you know, you think about you think about your sport, AJ, and balls and strikes, and how it's like, I mean, so close. You can miss a call. I mean, and you think about at the major league level, and, you know, was kind of pulling, you know, obviously we're all pulling for the Guards to get in there, but also kind of wanted to see a Yankees-Mets. I thought that would be kind of cool. But, I mean, how sharp you have to be, you know, as I was talking with Jenna, but being the umpire, right behind there in that box. First of all, knowing that you could get smoked any time by a foul coming right off at you. Catcher maybe comes off the mitt. I mean, you've seen some times where officials take damage too, right? Big time damage.
All the time.
Yeah, and
they're not under like an insurance. We had an official last year in Alumni Arena. Oops, just dropped the card. Thanks, AJ. We had an official in Alumni Arena who tore his Achilles mid-game at one of our women's games, and luckily they went to 2-man. But it's not like he has health insurance. Like it's not like it's like he's freelancing, so it's not like he's covered by some official. So they're putting a lot of risk out there, to make the money they are and be at the games. And when you get injured, like knock on wood, I haven't been injured yet, but
you still got your day job that you got to go back and worry about
right,
now. Now you're doing,
or if you got a family.
Now you're doing it like a girl, Christina Payon, with a walking boot on.
Yeah, with a walking boot, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, and I don't know, I feel bad now hearing you talk about some of the injured officials. We may or may not have tried to take out an official one time in the trenches.
Right.
Guys in the way, just like, ooh, there's the official. Push some guy.
Right, yeah.
No,
see,
but
it's people like that.
Yeah, he never saw it coming, so hopefully he doesn't watch. But if you're watching Wednesdays at the Wink, make sure to stop out here to the Washington Square Winking Lizard. These ladies out here have done a phenomenal job. Shed a little light on the girls that we've had a chance to work with, Denise and them. They open up the place, and their affiliation and partnership with Walsh University, as we're situated right across the street. The Winking Lizard does a phenomenal job for us doing this for Wednesdays at the Wink.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have such a great restaurant and place for our student athletes to go, our faculty, and all of our fans to come to after all of our events. Whether you're at a baseball game, a basketball game, a soccer game, lacrosse, definitely come out here. This has been great year 2 with Wednesdays at the Wink, spotlighting a lot of our teams. But then with this is our first off team. But we get to highlight our great student athletes here, such as AJ, Jenna, one of our assistant athletic directors, Dave, for all the work that they do. And they work day jobs and they're student athletes, but they're also officials and they're doing that realm. So we're really fortunate to have such great management and people here that allow us to spotlight these people week in and week out. And got to shout out my guy TJ. I appreciate him being here every week and helping me spotlight our student athletes. So couldn't do it without you.
All right, now let's get that spotlight on a student athlete. AJ, you're digging here, or digging in, right? We're getting in the batter's box with you.
Oh yeah.
In the that new segment.
Yep.
From Wednesdays at the Wing.
Yep.
In the batter's box with AJ Words.
Yep.
All right. Tell us about you. Tell us about how, let's say, the recruiting process worked. What ultimately was it that sold you on Walsh University, other than legendary coach and great administrators taking care of your student athletes? But shine a little light on yourself, man. Tell everybody about yourself. You're a righty, you're a lefty, or you pitcher, outfielder, infielder. What's your strong suit when it comes to the plate? Can you hit a curveball? Can you hit a breaking ball? Because God knows I wouldn't have played offensive line if I could have hit a curveball. But tell us about yourself, my man.
Yeah, so my name is AJ Wirtz. I went to Jackson High School, as we've stated earlier, and I'm a right-handed pitcher. I don't hit it all because I can't hit the curveball. Couldn't do it.
Right.
Couldn't do it, so I decided to be the guy who throws the curveball that people can't hit.
There you
go. That's like reverse psychology. You're going to be a good official, I think, now.
So, right-handed pitcher, and the recruiting process was just I reached out to Walsh through an email, and Coach Meade got back to me quickly, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to be playing a game here at Walsh over the summer if you'd want to be there and watch. And so he came and watched that game, started contacting me afterward, and then at Jackson we were doing little inter-squad scrimmages in the fall, and Coach Ware, our pitching coach, came and watched me throw. Great dude.
Great pickup.
Great dude.
For the Walsh Cavaliers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And so he came and watched me pitch and was finally like, hey, we want you to come to Walsh if you'd be willing. And I loved it here. Coach Meade really was the one who sold it. You said maybe not Coach Meade, but, I mean, there's no one better than Coach Meade, to be honest with you. So he was a big part of what sold it. Had a buddy who came here with me from Jackson, also on the baseball team now.
Okay.
And so Yeah, just kind of staying close to home. Great.
Who was at
university.
this game with? Not Mo Tice.
Kyle Benson.
Cal Benson. Ooh, nice little football player too, man.
Yes.
Kyle's a great athlete.
Fantastic.
You guys are a very welcomed addition. All right, dig a little deeper here now since we're out of the batter's box with AJ Wirtz.
Are we on the mound now?
Now we're in the bullpen. No,
Oh, the bullpen.
we're coming to the bullpen
We're still in
with
the
AJ
bullpen,
Wirtz.
all right.
So, what's your game, righty? What are your pitches?
I throw a fastball, slider, and a changeup.
Okay.
Like a 3/4 arm slot. Don't really throw to not a normal throwing motion for sure.
Okay.
So it's a 2-seam and a slider and changeup.
Does that affect? Do you feel that affects a lot of the hitters that you will face because it's not something arm motion that they're used to seeing?
Yeah, I think so. I've been told by a lot
The
of friends.
dudes that you struck out.
Yeah,
Told you.
yeah. A lot of my buddies in high school, I talk to them just kind of. I love getting feedback from anybody that I
For
can
sure.
to see how I can get better. And so I talked to them. I was like, hey, like, how does it look? And they're like, dude, it just doesn't look normal, right? Like it's a little different. Helps the ball to move more.
Yeah.
At least it's helped me to kind of move the ball more. And yeah, so I think that definitely helps me out a little bit.
Nice, man. I'll tell you what, it's not enough people respect and just enjoy. Like, I mean, I'm a baseball junkie, so it's like I love seeing a 1-0 game. It's a pitcher's duel, right? Where, I mean, you're coming all the way down the wire, and it's one pitch could be the difference between winning and losing after all of those innings, and that's really the chess match of it. And that's really what you do when you're out there on the mound, right? It's a chess match. You're just trying to stay a little bit ahead of the dude in the box, right? So we'll be following along with you, man. Spring, obviously, Greeny, we'll be back here doing more stuff, covering all the varsity athletes, all the varsity coaches, all the Walsh athletics, all the Walsh athletics you can get. Download the Walsh Athletics mobile app on Google Play, Apple Store. Get the schedules. You'll be able to see him. Get tickets. Get his stats. You're going to find out how many people he strikes out in his freshman game. But as we thank a couple of those partners that really assist in the operation with Walsh Athletics, always remember Cleveland Clinic, Mercy Hospitals, BSN Sports, Huntington Bank, Bell Stores, and the Sam Center. Also go to athletics.walsh.edu. You guys do a phenomenal job with that stuff over there. So much content, you know, and if you want to keep up on anything Walsh Athletics, make sure to go to athletics.walsh.edu. And so that'll bring us, Greeny, to, I mean, we're coming down the back end of fall, right?
Yeah, it's wild that it's already like almost Halloween, almost November, getting ready for basketball to start.
Getting ready for Boo with the Woo?
Yeah, Boo with the Woo, Halloween. Happy Halloween, right? Yeah.
Give us a State of the Union here for fall athletics. So we've had Coach Rob on with men's and women's. We had our guy. We pretty much got Mitch Dunham GMAC Athlete of the Week because he was on here, and then he just went and balled out at Robert Morris and took first place. And, we've had a chance to talk to Coach Fank. We've had a chance to talk to rugby,
women's soccer,
volleyball.
Yeah,
Give us tell us where we're at. Oh, again. Well, did we hook up Coach Brett Holt? Because right afterwards, he got win number 200, so it must have been Wednesdays at the Wink.
Yeah, it was Wednesdays at the Wink. Definitely did.
A lot of good things going on here in the fall with athletics. Put a shine on it.
Yeah, so trying to think. Men's and women's cross country has their GMAC championships this weekend up in Hillsdale. So we're hoping for some really good running up there for our student athletes. I think our men are going for like maybe their 6th conference championship in a row. So Coach Mazzico does a great job with them. And we talked to that episode, like you mentioned, for our first episode this year. Football's doing a great job. Had a tough loss to Tiffin the other day on Saturday, but they head down to ODU this weekend to play the Panthers on an away game. I'm trying to think, men's and women's rugby has been super exciting to see. Hopefully you've been able to catch some rugby games,
so
AJ.
Give me a little bit of the timeline here right now. Penn State's going to be coming on to campus?
Yes, Penn State is next week. This week is, for the women, is Kent State, the Flashes, and then the men's rugby is playing Army. They just played Navy last week, so getting some really cool schools down to see our campus, get them to Stark County and see the great area around here. Hopefully they come visit the Winking Lizard,
Yeah, super cool. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, so that's doing awesome. Trying to think. Sprint football's doing well. Rolling through the punches with that. I think their last game's away this weekend. Men's soccer, they've had some injuries, but they're hanging in there. Just beat rival Malone on Saturday. They got a doubleheader tomorrow. Women's soccer is, they're getting some key wins and, competing really hard. I'm trying to think volleyball, again, you mentioned Coach Holt got his 200th win. They were just competing in a big crossover tournament in Indiana this past weekend, but they returned home Friday versus Lake Erie for a Dig Pink breast cancer. So if you're around, come check out Winking Lizard before that game at 6, and then pop over to the Caccini Center and the Ox Gym to see some high-level volleyball. Those games are always super fun.
Yeah.
So I think we hit everybody for fall sports.
Well,
basketball starting in about a month is our first home game, so we're looking for excitement from the men's and women's basketball programs as always. Those games are always fun.
There's already been a Jeff Tyler sighting on campus.
Yes, Jeff Tyler has already got the scouting
our
report
guy,
for
the
our
natural.
Great Midwest Digital Network play-by-play for those games. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
AJ
great
will
stuff.
be there. You can talk about baseball with AJ and basketball when he comes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
So you got to come to the games now.
Yep.
A lot of exciting stuff, and again, can't even begin to say how cool I think it is, how great of a job you guys do, because not every university is quite like Walsh University.
Thank you.
Some do it better than others. You guys do it better than others, and
Thank you.
it's good to see that, because that's what makes the student athlete experience that much better. You win with people, and there's great people here. And again, we had President Collins out for the Hall of Fame Luncheon Club, and he's to see his energy and to see he knows that, and he's been able to, just like what he saw with the rugby and that whole thing. And go check that episode out over on our YouTube channel at SMG Network Sports 1. You can hear him talk about that. You're like, listen, Notre Dame College shutting down, great, phenomenal rugby team. Let's bring him here. Let's give him a home.
Yeah.
And to see Jason Fox and Cornell Britz and Kelly Wallenhorst, and to hear them talk about when they first came on campus, and Collins is there, swords up, packed gym, and they're like, wow, like, this is for us. Like, Jason was like, it literally brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah,
he's like,
it was exciting.
Because nobody does this for rugby. And he's like, Walsh did this for rugby. And I'm like, that's cool. That's why it's different. That's why the experience is different.
For sure. It's been super exciting, and getting to know those student athletes and learning rugby and, showcasing that sport to the community and our student athletes gives them an extra event to come to and feel that game day environment. And it's been really well, and we're very grateful and excited to have them and what they keep on building.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little poll, a little contest on who is like the funniest guest from
That
the
would
fall.
be good, yeah.
Because how's my girls, the Rammer Hammer and the Mallet doing in soccer? Because those girls were an absolute hoot.
I know, it was a great episode. They're doing well. I'm trying to think. All the games run together because there's 80 things going on right now, and then we're getting ready for the winter. I'm sorry, women's soccer. I don't remember when your last game was, but I know they play tomorrow at 5 o'clock versus Findlay.
Nice.
So, they play Findlay? No, maybe. Oh, they play Ursuline tomorrow. The men play Findlay. Sorry, a little brain.
Hey, listen, you guys have a lot going on. There's a lot that you're doing. Again, Boo with the Woo tonight, doing different events around the community, and I believe it was Brett Holt who was just telling me about. And I heard on the radio they were plugging a commercial. My guy Ryan Miller from down there in Columbus, who started the 2nd and 7 Foundation with guys like Luke Fickle and Mike Vrabel, and like over 100 million books given out to fight literacy over the last 8, 9, 10 years. And that started down in Columbus, and that's trickled all the way down to Walsh University.
For sure,
and
baseball.
And Brett and the girls, and you guys went out and you did the empowering women's thing, women's empowering. You sent the ladies out, I believe, to Louisville High
Females.
School. Fierce Females.
So 2nd and 7, the baseball program actually goes there with volleyball.
Okay.
So our student athletes are reading. I think they actually had their first one of the year tomorrow. Then we did some with our female student athletes, Fierce Females. So just impacting and empowering all the young ladies in Plain local schools in the 4th grade. So doing some activities in there, and this Cavalier commitment, trying to just get out to the community. So, again, you said you win with people. We have great people at Walsh University. We have great student athletes like AJ and Jenna. And so seeing them impact then the younger kids with 2nd and 7, Fierce Females, Boo with the Woo tonight. Again, it's bigger than sports. It's bigger than, it's bigger than scholarships. It's bigger. A lot of things are, it's bigger than the dollar sign. So we have great people that are doing more than just going to school and really impacting the future, which is really awesome to see.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Enough said right there. I mean, yeah, that's a super mic drop right there. Greeny, bringing the heat.
Yeah,
Hot take.
trying.
All right, well, that's where we're going to end it because I can't do any better than that right there. She just closed it out for me. So
Respect officials. I'll end it there.
Yes.
Cavalier commitment.
Respect the game,
Yeah,
respect
AJ's
officials,
out there, yes.
and come out and support your student athletes.
That's it.
So, and make sure, again, athletics.walsh.edu and the Walsh Cavalier Athletics mobile app to stay up to date on them, to stay updated on any sport, anything Walsh Cavalier Athletics. All right, that's going to do it for us here at the Winking Lizard, another episode of Wednesdays at the Wink. Appreciate my guests from earlier, Dave Gramlich, and also Jenna Jaffe. Jaffe.
Yes.
I'm interested to see her. I want to see her behind the plate. I didn't get a chance to ask her what her game was like, if she could hit it. Because I'm going to tell you what. She told me a little bit about her catching game, but I'll tell you what. The motion and mechanics of a softball pitcher.
Yeah, I tried it when I was little. Didn't work too well.
It's something just. It's a piece of work. It looks like it's artwork to me.
Yeah.
I mean, pitching's artwork. I'm not trying to think. But softball pitching is like, wow. You know, if you've seen the Peyton Gottschalks like from Perry do it, it's like, whoa. That's
softball in Stark County is
big time.
killer.
Get out there and support your athletes.
Yeah,
and as Greeny
all over.
said, not only respect the game, but respect these officials and anything you can do to get behind promoting officiating. And if you're looking for that avenue or something extra to do and want to learn a new skill set, make sure you reach out. Where can people go to get more information again?
Yeah, so the OHSA is a great website. The NFHS, National Federation of High School Athletics, I think that website is. You know, I am an official myself. AJ is. If you're a high school student, you know, ask your coaches know a lot about it. You can email me, agreen@walsh.edu. I'd love to, get more people into officiating because, again, you need them. We have great mentors that have mentored me, and I'm sure AJ would agree. In Stark County, a lot of people just really willing to help and keep, our tagline for this is thank you for partnering with us to save the game. And so, again, it's a great career path, not even a great hobby. You have to make your own schedule, exercise. So, really, if you're interested, I think emailing and find the right people, but, it just takes a little bit to do it, and it makes such a big impact.
Yep.
So
it's the Cavalier commitment. There it is. All right.
There it is.
My guy, AJ Wirtz for Greeny. I'm TJ Downing with the SMG Network. We'll be back again next week. Not sure who we're going to dive in with, but you won't want to miss it. So, and we'll be able to check you out. You'll be able to check out some of this information over on some of our social media feeds and different sites at Stark Media Team and at SMG Network 1. All right, so long, everyone. Another episode of Wednesdays at the Wing in the books as we end it, right, all the time.
Yep. Swords up.
Swords
for
up.
sure.